He heard a nurse singing to his mother, then realized the song was written by his dead brother. The song wasn't famous. It wasn't on Spotify. It had never been recorded, never been published, never been sung on a stage beneath warm lights, while strangers pretended to understand the person who wrote it. Only 3 people were supposed to know it: his mother, his little brother, and Gabriel. So when Gabriel Carter stepped out of the elevator on the 4th floor of St. Catherine's Memory Care Center in Seattle and heard that melody drifting down the hallway, he stopped so suddenly the man behind him almost walked into his back. The hallway smelled faintly of antiseptic lavender soap and the overcooked carrots they served every Wednesday for lunch. Outside the tall windows, Seattle was wearing its usual gray expression, rain tapping softly against the glass like someone too polite to knock. Gabriel adjusted the cuffs of his dark coat, though they were already perfect. Everything about him was usually perfect. The tailored suit, the polished shoes, the watch expensive enough to pay 3 months of rent for one of the nurses who nodded at him as he passed. The controlled expression of a man who had built a medical technology company from nothing and learned, somewhere along the way, that grief looked more acceptable when hidden behind competence. He visited his mother every Thursday at 4. Not because she always knew him. Some days Margaret Carter looked up and said, "Gabriel," with such relief that he almost forgave the world. Other days she smiled at him like he was a kind stranger, and on the worst days, she touched his face and whispered, "Noah, you're late." Those were the days he drove home with both hands on the steering wheel, sitting in silence long after the engine stopped. Today, he had expected one of those ordinary heartbreaks, the kind he had practiced surviving. He carried a paper bag from the bakery she used to love, though she no longer remembered loving it. Inside was a lemon scone, wrapped carefully, because Margaret had once claimed lemon tasted like sunshine with manners. Noah had laughed so hard at that he nearly choked. Gabriel had told him not to be dramatic. That was how he remembered himself in most memories now, correcting joy. He turned the corner toward room 418. Then he heard the song. At first, only a few notes. Soft, uncertain, almost hummed. Gabriel paused near the nurse's station. His first thought was that memory was playing some cruel trick on him. Alzheimer's had made his mother's mind unreliable, but grief had done something similar to his own. Sometimes he heard Noah's laugh in parking lots. Sometimes, in crowds, he caught the shape of a boy with 2 long limbs and messy brown hair and hated himself for looking twice. But then came the words, quiet, clear.
If the moon forgets the water and the birds forget the sky, I'll still find you in the morning where the lonely
Gabriel's
things go
hand
by.
tightened around the bakery bag. The paper crumpled. No, that wasn't possible. Noah had written that song at 14, sitting cross-legged on their mother's kitchen floor, with a cheap guitar and a pencil behind his ear. He had been all elbows and enthusiasm, convinced heartbreak sounded deeper if you rhymed moon with anything. Gabriel had been 17 then, studying for SATs at the table, irritated by every wrong chord. "You know most songs need a point," Gabriel had said. Noah had grinned. "This one has a point." "What is it?" "That lonely things deserve backup vocals." Their mother had cried when he sang it. Gabriel had rolled his eyes. But later, when no one was around, he had written the lyrics in the back of an old notebook so he could tease Noah with them someday. He never got the chance. The song had stayed inside the family. No recordings, no performances, no online posts, no sheet music. Just a ridiculous little song by a boy who thought feelings belonged everywhere, even in badly tuned guitars. And Noah had been dead for 8 years. Gabriel moved before he fully decided to. His shoes made almost no sound on the polished floor. The melody grew clearer as he approached his mother's room. The door was halfway open. Inside, Margaret lay propped against white pillows, thinner than she had been last month, her silver hair brushed neatly away from her face. Her eyes were closed. One hand rested outside the blanket, fragile and blue-veined. Beside her sat a young nurse in navy scrubs. She couldn't have been more than 24. Her brown hair was twisted messily at the back of her head, with a pencil stuck through it like an emergency structural support. A plastic badge clipped to her pocket read, "Lily Monroe, Neurology." She held Margaret's hand as she sang, thumb moving gently over the older woman's knuckles. Not performative, not sentimental, just steady. as if the song belonged in that room, as if it had always belonged there. Gabriel's chest went cold. Lily sang the next line, and it was the line that did it. The one Noah had added later, after their mother told him the first version was too sad. And if home becomes a hallway, with no door I recognize. Gabriel stepped into the room. Stop. The word came out sharper than he intended. Lily's voice broke mid-note. Margaret's eyes fluttered open. For half a second, the room was silent except for the rain tapping against the window and the slow beep of the monitor beside the bed. Lily turned. Her face was soft at first with confusion, then professional concern. "Mr. Carter," she said, rising quickly. "I'm sorry. I didn't hear you come in." Gabriel barely heard her. He was staring at her like she had walked into the room carrying Noah's old guitar. His mother blinked at him. "Noah?" she whispered. The name struck him with familiar precision. Lily's expression changed. Not pity, recognition, and something else. Fear. Gabriel set the bakery bag down on the table without looking. The lemon scone inside had been crushed flat. He took one step closer. "That song," he said. Lily swallowed. Margaret's fingers tightened weakly around hers, as if asking her not to let go. Gabriel's voice dropped lower, more controlled, more dangerous. "Where did you hear that song?" All the color left Lily Monroe's face. Lily did not answer. That was Gabriel's first confirmation that something was wrong. In his experience, innocent people answered quickly. They became confused, offended, nervous, but they answered. Lily Monroe only stood there with her hand still caught in his mother's, her face pale, her eyes fixed on him, as if he had asked a question she had spent years hoping no one would ask. Margaret looked between them, her expression clouded. "Don't be cross," she murmured. "She sings it nicely." Gabriel's jaw tightened. "Mom," he said gently, though nothing in him felt gentle. Margaret frowned. "You're not Noah." "No," he said. "I'm Gabriel." She considered this, then gave a small disappointed sigh, as if he had arrived wearing the wrong name. Lily lowered her gaze. "I should check on my other patients," she said. "You should answer me." Her eyes lifted back to his. For the first time, Gabriel noticed they were not frightened exactly. Guarded, yes. Shocked, absolutely. But there was something stubborn beneath it, something that refused to bend, simply because a wealthy man in an expensive coat had decided he deserved an explanation. "This isn't the place," Lily said quietly. "This is exactly the place." "No," she replied. "This is your mother's room, and she's already upset." Gabriel looked at Margaret. His mother had begun rubbing the edge of her blanket between two fingers, a habit she had developed when anxious. Her breathing was shallow. Her eyes moved toward the window, then the door, then Lily, as if trying to locate herself in the room. The anger in Gabriel's chest did not disappear, but it shifted. Lily noticed the change immediately. Without waiting for permission, she sat again beside Margaret and softened her voice. "Margaret, can you look at me?" "There you are," Lily said. "We're in your room. It's Wednesday afternoon. It's raining, but not dramatically enough to impress anyone." Margaret blinked. "Seattle has lost its standards," she said. Lily smiled. "Completely." Against his will, Gabriel almost laughed. "Almost," Lily continued. "Your son Gabriel is here. He brought you something from the bakery." "Lemon?" Margaret asked. Gabriel stared at her. "Yes," he said, too softly. Margaret's fingers relaxed. Lily glanced at him once, then back at his mother. "See? You're safe." The word landed harder than Gabriel expected. Safe. That was what the song had sounded like in her voice. Not stolen, not performed. Used carefully, like a blanket over trembling shoulders. Still, he did not trust it. 5 minutes later, Lily stepped into the hallway with him. She closed Margaret's door halfway, leaving enough room to hear if she called out. Gabriel faced her. "I'll ask once more," he said. "Where did you hear that song?" Lily folded her arms, then seemed to realize the gesture looked defensive, and let them fall. "Your mother asks for that song when she's scared. That wasn't my question. It's the only answer I can give you right now. That song belonged to my brother. I know." The two words struck him. Gabriel went still. "How?" Lily's lips parted, then closed again. He watched her retreat behind silence, and suspicion filled the space she left empty. His family was known in Seattle. His company had been profiled in magazines. His mother's illness was not public, but wealthy families attracted curiosity the way porch lights attracted moths. Maybe Lily had researched them. Maybe she had found an old notebook. Maybe someone had talked. Maybe grief had made him careless with what little he had left of Noah. "You looked into us," he said. Her face changed. "No. You expect me to believe you accidentally learned a song no one outside my family knew? I expect you to believe I don't owe you a confession in a hallway while I'm on shift. You know something about my brother." "Yes," Lily said. The hallway seemed to narrow. "But not like this," she added. "Not because you corner me after upsetting your mother." Before Gabriel could respond, a man in a white coat appeared, carrying a clipboard and a half-eaten granola bar. "Lily," he said, "please tell me Mrs. Donnelly did not actually put her hearing aid in the pudding cup again, because housekeeping is threatening to resign as a concept." Then he noticed Gabriel. The doctor froze. His eyes moved from Gabriel's tense posture to Lily's flushed face, then back again with alarming enthusiasm. "Oh," he said. "Wow, okay." Lily closed her eyes. "Ben, no." Ben lowered his voice badly. "Is this him?" "No." "The mysterious emotionally unavailable ex?" "I don't have one of those. Everyone has one of those." Gabriel stared at him. Ben stuck out a hand. "Dr. Ben Morales. Neurology. Friend, colleague, and apparently terrible at reading the room." Lily muttered, "That has never stopped you before." Ben looked at Gabriel's suit. "Wait, are you the billionaire's son?" Gabriel's expression hardened. Ben winced. "Great, nailed it." For one absurd second, the tension cracked. Not enough to soften anything, but enough for Gabriel to notice that Lily's embarrassment was real. She looked like she wanted the floor to open, swallow her, and file an incident report afterward. "I'm not her ex," Gabriel said. Ben nodded solemnly. "Congratulations to both of you." Ben, leaving now. He did not leave. A call light blinked above a nearby door, and Lily seized it like rescue. "I have patience," she said to Gabriel. "Your mother is calmer now. Please don't question her about the song. It may agitate her." Then she walked away. Gabriel should have gone back to Margaret's room. Instead, he watched Lily work. He told himself it was because he did not trust her. That was partly true. Lily moved from room to room with a kind of patience Gabriel had rarely seen and never possessed. She did not float around like some sentimental painting of a nurse. She did not speak in syrupy tones or pretend suffering was beautiful. She joked when it helped and stayed quiet when it didn't. She convinced Mrs. Donnelly that her hearing aid was not dessert. She helped a retired school principal button his cardigan after he cursed at her in 3 languages, 2 of which Gabriel suspected he had invented. She let an old man ask where his wife was, and answered with such careful kindness that Gabriel understood this was not the first time he had asked today. No performance, no sainthood, just endurance. When Gabriel returned to his mother's room, Margaret was awake. Lily had come back before him and was adjusting the blanket around her legs. Margaret looked at Lily's face for a long time, then her eyes cleared in